Good day, early in the morning, chapter 10, verse 19 of Leviticus. And Aaron said unto Moses, Behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, and such things have befallen me. And if I had eaten a sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sight of the Lord? Concerning this, Ellicott, I believe that's how you say his name, Ellicott says, But while he, Eleazar, and Ithamar were thus duly performing the sacrificial rites, Nadab and Abihu, the other two sons, transgressed and were suddenly struck down dead, thus overwhelming the survivors with sorrow and terror, and rendering them unfit to partake of the sacrifices. Unfitted as they thus were by mourning and the sense of their own sinfulness, that if they had partaken of this solemn meal, it would have not been accepted by the Lord. Well, guess what? They were absolutely right about that. And when verse 20, and when Moses heard this, he was content. Notes, Moses acknowledged Aaron's plea to be just, and that he had himself spoken hastily. Hence, Jewish tradition ascribed the mistake to Moses, not to Aaron. Jewish tradition further says when Moses heard it, he approved of it, whereupon he sent a herald through the whole camp of Israel, saying, It is I from whom the law had been hid, and my brother Aaron, it is to my remembrance. Chapter 11, we're going to talk about some furry little friends here. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which you shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Notes, priesthood having been established, partially destroyed but still established, to it was now committed the judgment of that which was so called as defiled. Verse 3, Whatsoever parts the hoof and is cloven-footed and chews the cud among the beasts, that shall you eat. Notes, we're going to get to some interesting stuff here. The laws of this chapter and following for several chapters were not only a test of obedience and a loving provision for the health and happiness of the people, but they also give us a humbling picture of the weakness and corruption of fallen human nature. Verse 4, Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof. As the camel, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Notes, if it is to be actually noted, the word of the Lord was the one and only judge in all of these matters. And here I am, turning the page if I can get a hold of it. There we go. And the coney, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Verse 6, And the rabbit, because he chews the cud, but divides not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he chews not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you. Notes, this may seem a bit strange to an unspiritual eye, but we'll get to this. Why would the Lord give specific instructions of this nature as it regarded the eating of certain animals and fowls and other such little critters? In Acts chapter 10, as it regards the vision given to Simon Peter, all of these rulings were actually rescinded. In fact, as it regards Christianity, which is the outgrowth of Judaism, there are no prohibition whatsoever of this nature. The reason for these particular laws and the understanding of them, such knowledge was not totally necessary, but rather actually obedience, because Israel was a set-apart people, actually raised up for the very purpose of bringing Christ the Redeemer into the world. As they were to be the womb of the Messiah, so to speak, things which the Lord specified as being unclean were forbidden. As stated, they didn't have to understand it all, but they definitely must obey. Once Christ came, all of these prohibitions actually ended. It's like a parent just simply telling you no, and you obey, not understanding what they're actually trying to protect you from, or you just do it. You do it out of respect and obedience to your superior. A lot of this is actually just obedience, really. I mean, that's all it really boils down to most of the time. Verse 9. These shall you eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall you eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but you shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever has no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. And these are they which you shall have in abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten, they are an abomination. The eagle and the ossifrage and the osprey and the vulture and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, and the owl and the nighthawk and the cuckoo and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl and the cormorant and the great owl, and the swan and the pelican and the gyre eagle, and the stork, the heron after her kind, and the lapwing and the bat. All fowls that creep going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 21. Yet these may you eat of every flying creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet to leap withal upon the earth. Notes, whenever it's talking about going upon all four, it's basically talking about a flightless bird. If you look at the proper translation, it's not talking about a four-legged bird. It's actually it's using like a cow in comparison, and saying that if it walks like this and it's a bird, stay away from it. That's kind of what it's saying. I think I left off at 21, but hey, if I make a mistake, oh well. I've got plenty of time to read. Well, I'll go ahead and read at 22. Even these of them you may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. And for these you shall be unclean. Whosoever touches the carcass of them shall be unclean until the evening. Notes, an unclean animal, fish, bird, or reptile, when dead, defiled whatsoever it touched. Verse 25, and whosoever bears aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Notes, this basically means that in the meantime the person could not offer sacrifices. Verse 26, the carcass of every beast which divides the hoof and is not cloven-footed, nor chews the cud, are unclean unto you. Everyone who touches them shall be unclean. Verse 27, and whatsoever goes upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all fours, those are unclean unto you. Whoso touches their carcasses shall be unclean until the evening. And in Jewish time that would be about 6 p.m. Verse 28, and he who bears the carcass of them shall wash their clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you. Notes. Let's take the swine, for instance. And if I remember this correctly, a swine only has sweat glands on its nose, and I think maybe behind its ears, but I'm pretty sure it's only on the nose, and thus all the toxins that are in their body don't really have a chance to escape. I can't remember who it was that taught on all of these particular animals, but they had some kind of symbology or some kind of toxicity that basically is not good for us. And if you know anything about pork, it's generally not good for you. It really isn't. But we will have to pick up in, let's see, where are we? I'll have to pick up in Leviticus chapter 10, or no, chapter 11, verse 29. Thank you very much.